It's the book of 2 Corinthians chapter 2, starting at verse 11. Or the point is verse 11, and it reads, "Least Satan shouldn't get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices." I'll read it in the NLT, and it reads, "So that Satan will not outsmart us, for we are familiar with his evil schemes." I want to start off by giving all praise, all honor, and all glory to Call Loyam Yahweh, Hashem Yahushai, Hashem Hakadosh Baruch. Double honors to the elders and to the apostles of the great millstone who do teach and rule well. Peace and salutations to the Akim across the four corners of the earth, pushing his truth with faith and with sincerity, as well as risking their lives and freedom to do so now more so than ever. Shalom to the Akim and the Aqua that they're listening and learning. Lord, willingly, this is edifying. Shalom to the Israelite foreigners scattered abroad in the land of other nations, appearing like the other nations, but whom subscribe to this truth. To you, I say Shalom. It's the brother Yahweh coming at you with another lesson through the Spirit and through the power of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. This lesson is in regards to it was something that the elder said. I can't remember. Salakia, forgive me. But in regards to the 15-minute cities this week, or today's Sunday, so last week, I did some research. It was one of the elders. It was either the beloved elder apostles or it was like Elder Yashawan, but it was an elder though. And it was going into the 15-minute cities. So it made me pretty much look up information on the 15-minute cities. So you go into this word in 2 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 11.
Devices. Strong's G 3540. Naima.
Says a mental perception, thought, evil purpose, that which thinks the mind's thoughts or purposes. A mental perception and thought. Says perception, purpose, or by implication, the intellect, disposition, and self-device, mind, thought. Cause whoever is devising evil against Christ to desist from his purpose and submit himself to Christ. That which thinks the mind, plural, where the mind of many are referred to. So, it talks about these wicked counsels in the book of Psalms, chapter 83. It's pretty much being against the children of Israel. That's why, they got certain legislation and certain, plans of, when you go into the Agenda 2030 and, these different things, these is all their devices. We'll get another scripture before I bring out some other information. This is Micah chapter 2 and verse 1, and it reads, matter of fact, let me get it out of the blue letter. Looks like I could download more than one blue letter. It has another app kind of like the blue letter. It's the book of Micah chapter 2 verse 1, and it reads, "Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. What sorrow awaits you who lie awake at night thinking of evil plans? When the evil upon their beds, when the morning's light, they practice it because it is in the power of their hand." Back in the NLT, it says, "What sorrow awaits you who lie awake at night thinking of evil plans? You rise at dawn and hurry to carry them out simply because you have the power to do so." Okay, so let's look at this one. Go to that word woe. Pain. Declaration of judgment. Morning goes into mourning or destruction. Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. In the morning it is light, they practice it because go to the word devise.
Strong's H 2803. Chashav. Chashav.
It means to think, plan, esteem, calculate, invest, make a judgment, imagine, count. Properly to plate or interpenetrate, to weave or generally to fabricate, figuratively to plot or contrive, usually in the malicious sense, hence from the mental effort to think, regard, value, compute, make, account, conceive, consider, man, workman, devise, esteem, find out, forecast, hold, imagine, impute, invent, be like, to invent. Be like, main purpose, reckoning, be made, regard. So, says it's individuals that are pretty much planning, plotting, making evil schemes. Verse 2, and they convert Salakia, and they covet fields and take them by violence. We've seen in the past how the so-called white man, the red Hebrew Edomite, pretty much coveted the fields and the land of Babylon the Great, aka America. Coveted it from the tribes of Gad and Reuben. I was just watching a video. No, yeah, the beloved elder Apostle Tahar just did a video. He was going into a list of the different wars. I forgot the title of the video, but it was recent. And he was going into how, because he was mentioning how the beloved elder Apostle pretty much is a Seminole or a Reubenite, and how they pretty much was moved from Florida to Oklahoma. And you know what? Before my testimony, around the time of my testimony, it was this nigga that I met, this 2/3 nigga that I went to school with. And pretty much he was in Oklahoma. I forgot why he said he'd be going back and forth to Oklahoma. He knew somebody out there. Long story short, he was like, he stayed on the projects out there. He was like, he met Reubenites. He was like, they nothing but niggers. They Israelites, put it like that. So, they coveted the land that Reuben had. Pretty much, you had Andrew Jackson, what they call him, the Indian Slayer or something, which the word Indian is savage. I was watching a video because I got Boosie is on 20-1. That's how you know people ain't getting no money like him. Boosie brought his money. And he able to afford that land. He got like a plot of land with like homes and houses for all his children. But, when you got people that's supposed to be doing these major moves and you on 20-1, 20 versus 1. But to show you how the culture and everything is so fucked up, with all these things going on, you got people glued to that shit. We can't help what's recommended to us on videos. You might be on some folly time, because anything that's outside of the will was Salakia. Anything outside of doing the work of Yahweh outside and its truth is folly. So pretty much, on your downtime, you might hit a video, somebody get your attention. Based on that, the algorithm gonna pick that up and just start bombarding you with videos that's like that one, that person's videos like it. You know what I mean? You notice, like you might listen to a brother's lesson when it ends. I get all kind of bullshit. I might get a Christian video that might come back up after it. I get that dude. What's that nigga name? I can't think of his name right now. That nigga be talking about magic and shit. He dressed like a Muslim. He be having a lot of people on there. It's on the tip of my tongue too. But he dressed like a Muslim. I think he into Islam. But then he be talking about magic. You know what I mean? Which, man, you got to understand, like, you know, Freemasons, they are call themselves being up on all religions. Yeah. Freemasonry will take you no matter what religion you in, but because ultimately you're not really worshiping that religion. You know what I mean? Like, Slakia, verse 2, and they cover fields and take them by violence and houses and take them away. So they oppress a man in his house, even a man in his heritage. You know, so pretty much they stole the land. They even went too far as to say that the people of the book, but they don't fit anything of the people of the book. Brothers is going into, how Israel wasn't going to have a standing army or weapons of mass destruction or any of these things. That's why we would need deliverance. But you got the whole world showing you how a lot of people going to really die because you got the majority of the world believing that. I was talking to this female, and she would have tried to say we this and that, this. It really shows you how many demons is on these people. I'm gonna stop getting so upset about it because at the end, somebody got to give me the 2/3. You know, develop that cold spirit. Still try to interact with these people, but not give a fuck what happened to you. You know, what is that old saying? You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. And then the fucked up part about it is this person, this ain't just an ignorant individual. They know about Israel. They know about this. They knew about Project 2025. You know what I mean? I'm like, damn, okay. But yet still just, it's so obvious to those that are initiated because, like literally, you know, you want to be this and be that, be this. Well, we don't fit any of that. We fit the people in the scriptures, being under curses, being in a lowly state, being considered the scum of the earth. I just found that scripture. And the funny part is I've read the scriptures front to back. You know what I mean? But, that's spiritual when your mind and your spirit can retain it. So they just said that they the people when they really not. So who does that describe? The so-called white man, the red Hebrew Edomite, who you ignorantly call the so-called white man, but whose true biblical nationality is Esau Edom, Adonwam. He is wasted away is he. So get it a little bit of this article because I want to make this too long, but I want to explain to you the concept of a smart city. Come on. So it says a smart city uses digital technologies to improve the quality of life for its residents. A city's technology base includes sensors, smartphones, and high-speed communication networks. There are several defining characteristics for what makes a city smart. Having an infrastructure that uses connected digital technologies at its heart, using connected technology to improve environmental and sustainability criteria. City planning that is progressive in terms of use of space, resource, and energy. Yeah, you got the Internet of Things. Internet of Things definition. I joined this. The Internet of Things is a network of physical objects that are connected to the internet and can collect and exchange data. That can collect and exchange data. These objects, also called smart objects, are embedded with sensors, software, and other technologies. Internet of Things devices include smart thermostats, smartwatches, RFID enabled clothing. Wow, I did not know that. Industrial, they got clothing, man. What the fuck? Industrial machinery, transportation systems, and household appliances. Your smart TVs, your smart Stoves, your smart refrigerators. IoT devices can be used to monitor and control infrastructure. Devices can monitor bridges, railway tracks, and wind farms for structural changes that could compromise safety. Improve healthcare, improve construction, improve waste management. Okay, so one more definition. Salaki. This one cool. It said, what is the Internet of Bodies? Well, I'm just reading from here. It says, the Internet of Bodies is an ecosystem of interconnected devices that monitor the human body and collect personal biometric data. So it's gonna go from pretty much, you know, you know, the Internet of Things, all the technologies and you know devices around you that's pretty much being monitored to monitor the infrastructure being used to pinpoint and because they can monitor you off of the smart TVs. They can, it was showing that in, what was we watching? The Adams Family. I was watching that with my kids, like maybe like almost a month ago, or they was getting their hair done. And, pretty much, it was a lady that had like pretty much she had each house in the city. They stayed in a small town, but each home in a small town basically had cameras and whatnot set up in there. And she was monitoring them. So, and by the way, before I go into the article, the elder Mawatazak was going into. I know they was trying to make a city somewhere in L.A. He said on the outskirts, smart city. I know that they was trying to make a city in Tampa Bay since because of the storm. I know Bill Gates trying to make a city in Tampa Bay a smart city. Um, I think they said trying to make North Carolina some areas in North Carolina a smart city. They said trying to make one of the areas in Gaza a smart city. And bear with me for a second. They're trying to make Cleveland a 15-minute city. So for all you Cleveland residents, and if you wasn't aware, and I know Cleveland was so poor. That's why they got aspirations for Cleveland because Cleveland has things that a lot of these major cities have, but um, it's cheaper. You know what I mean? That's just like another reason why a lot of people run down south because down south in like places like Georgia, it's cheaper. The cost of living is cheaper. Uh, Cleveland's 15-minute city aspirations, but changes afoot. Cleveland's civil leaders have embarked on um, what is perhaps the most organized government-led effort in the United States to use 15-minute city principles to create a more vibrant and equitable city, bustling with thriving walkable neighborhoods. Cleveland's 15-minute city work had, and what will probably end up happening is the 15-minute city is going to be, which I could see. We were speaking about this when I was still part of the CAP in Cleveland. Like they're building up in certain areas, so where you got like Cleveland Clinic, which is like 105 in Euclid, like brothers is on Euclid. So to be honest, we've been on Euclid for a while. You know what I mean? Back when we was downtown. But if we go from like that area from 105 to downtown, that's like 15 minutes, and that's where the majority of new construction work is being focused. Now, there's certain areas like Superior and you know where they building housing, but that's probably for you niggas. You know what I mean? Ain't no probably that's for you niggas. That's probably government um, housing, eating or some shit like that. You know what I mean? Like that's not for you know um, that's not for Esau. So like I said, all those that's gonna be within that 15-minute city radius, they gonna be but those that's gonna be out of it, they gonna and and I can see it, I can visualize it because the simple fact is once you get past the part of 105, like once you get to like 100 and I think 20th, that's East Cleveland. And East Cleveland don't even got a grocery store. So, you know, because the way that East Cleveland and Cleveland set up is a invisible boundaries. Once you cross the line, now you into this city. So it wouldn't take nothing for them to pretty much like because you got University Heights right there, and then you go from Cleveland to University Heights to East Cleveland. And University Heights are going, really like they can't stand niggas. Matter of fact, when you take that and think about it, East Cleveland is surrounded by nothing but these Edomite, cities that don't like niggas. It says Cleveland 15-minute city work had its origin in 2020 as Paris mayor and Daglow's re-election campaign sparked global interest in the 15-minute city concept. Two planners in Cleveland's planning department, Matthew Moss and Dro Harabin, decided that it would be interesting to analyze how many Clevelanders enjoy 15-minute convenience, easy access to grocery stores, cafes, schools, etc. They found many neighborhoods in which residents could meet most of their needs within a 15-minute walk or bike, but that access was very uneven across the city. And this is bullshit because, like I said again, you go to a city like East Cleveland, or like they don't even have a grocery store. They literally, that is facts. You know, so what do they call that? A food desert. You got Jake out there surviving off of eating out of grocery stores. I mean, not so, gas stations. Salaki, I said grocery stores. Slip of the tongue went out of the heart. Eating out of gas stations. So you got Ishmael profiting off of Jake. What you think they gonna do when shit gets fucked up? Like I can only imagine what took place when they had no power. Because when the storm knocked out the power here, that shit went all the way up to Cleveland Heights. And then we got a organization in Cleveland called the Cleveland Group. I was doing some research on them years ago, and like a lot of these individuals, got they the movers and shakers of this city. So those are the ones that's pushing these agendas to try to get. I wouldn't be surprised if they behind this or if these individuals on their board or some shit like that. This if then that's why that guy Justin Bibb, the mayor of Cleveland, made the statement about trying to be the first 15-minute city. This informal effort within the planning department was turbocharged by the arrival of an energetic new mayor. And that's a spirit. I didn't know that was there. In January 2022, 36-year-old Justin Bibb, and I think he like the second youngest mayor in Cleveland's history after winning a decisive 62% of the vote. But see, the thing is, and they pretty much handpicked and put this dude there because the previous mayor, he didn't even run against him. He pretty much just stepped down. And then when you go into like, he's related to like this famous anchor person that's been known in Cleveland for decades. Leon Bibb. He was already keenly interested in the 15-minute city framing in April 2022 during his first State of the City address. And the thing is, they come to say that this guy owns a lot of property. Well, you know what I mean? Like at the end of the day, it's just like the mayor of East Cleveland, you know what I mean? You know, ultimately, like the elder said, I was just listening to the beloved elder Apostle Tahar today. He was saying, well, yesterday, he was saying how all these politicians are corrupt and they took, backdoor deals. And more than likely, these mayors and politicians, they be undercover, like, Masons and, what I mean? They be in all these different Greek fraternities and different organizations and secret societies. Because that's a secret society, no matter what it is, if you a part of something, everybody not knowing exactly what you're doing. That's why Yahweh Shah said, you know, that what they did in the secret, everything I've done, you have told before you, roughly paraphrase. I would have to find the scripture. But, you'd be surprised who all is affiliated. You know, I was telling somebody because I read something, they said the biggest contractor in the nation is not, Amazon, but it's the government. You got so many people that's retired that still do work for the government. You know what I mean? Like, I had this article, and I don't know if I'm gonna get it. Maybe first couple. So I ain't trying to make this super long. It says the emergence of smart cities in the digital era. So this is coming. You know what I mean? November 18th, 2023. Realizing the potential of smart cities will require public-private cooperation and security by design. And the thing, because it's coming, because the thing is, they're trying to get everything on a system or a network where they can track everything via the micro C-hip or that charagma. But yet, and still, you'll tell Jake or you'll tell somebody, and they look at you like you a nut, or like literally like this shit. It is kind of funny now. It's not offensive like that anymore. It's just like it made me think like, damn, the Lord really don't like you. Like, you know what I'm saying? But like the elder Hawaii said, he said, shit, you know, we the white man tell you, so-called white man, he's like, oh yeah, that's deep. You know what I mean? Oh, he's bringing out all this truth, knowledge. So we'll try to tell you, like, oh, this nigga with this shit again. Scriptures say, my people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. The idea of smart cities is starting to take shape as the digital era develops. A city that has developed a public-private infrastructure to support waste management, energy, transportation, water resources, smart buildings, technology, sustainability, security operations, and citizens services is referred to as a smart city. I should have just read this one. And take time to think about that. Like I forgot who brought that out. I want to say Elder Yashawam, but somebody was speaking of pretty much think about how this how how intricate and devious this plan was. Pretty much they got everybody off of being self sustainable. Because at one point in time, men knew how to go hunt and dress the food. And, man, you wasn't relying on a grocery store. You know, the elders always speak on about how these smartphones are really, making you stupid because, you used to have to make your brain work to remember the numbers and remember all this information. And now everything's at a push a button, you'll forget. I remember the last time I was incarcerated, like, they want you stupid though. You know what I mean? And think about a system. They want a system where everything is at a push of a button. Like I mean, I don't know if that woke everybody up or what, or woke a lot of people up, and I'm pretty sure it didn't. I stay around a bunch of niggas, but I'm talking about nobody got no power. People's food spoiling, but you got niggas drinking. That's what niggas gonna do in that day when all hell break loose. And then guess what? Them spirits gonna jump on them, and then whoever the Lord, scriptures talk about it in the book of Sirach or Ecclesiasticus, spirits created for vengeance. Says, says realizing the potential of smart cities will require public-private cooperation and security by design. It says a smart city functions as an applied innovation lab, automation, robotics enabling nanotechnologies, artificial intelligence, human computer interface, printed electronics, and photovoltaics, wearable, flexible electronics, and information technologies like real time and predictive analytics, supercomputing, 5G wireless networks, which they trying to go to 6G now, secure cloud computing, mobile devices, and virtualization are a few of the fascinating technological trends of the digital era that are influencing the development of smart cities. Cities have become smarter overall as a result of the shift from analog to digital technologies in recent years. So that's showing you they proved or they just made that analog shit outdated because they wanted to put this digital stuff in. But the thing with analog is like a landline. Like when you used to have to go to a phone book booth like Clark Kent, like they couldn't just tap that like that. Now with this digital shit, you know what I mean? Like, think about it. You can go download an app and talk on the phone. You know, you could change your phone number from a zip area you even live in. And I was watching the Elder Mwatazak from Ancient of Days or the West Coast, California camp or LA camp, and he was saying how I can't say California because he got a San Francisco camp too. Uh, he did a video about pretty much the smart cities, and he was that's where I got the information about. He said, I think he said in the deserts or the outskirts of LA, where either they've tried to do a smart city, but he was going into that's the reason why you see in a lot of the places like at downtown LA where a lot of those businesses are failing. And I watch a guy named John Williams, and he pretty much goes around the country, and he talking about like cities like Ohio, you know, like Jake in Ohio don't realize like literally like I always said it. These cities with those Federal Reserve banks, that's where a lot of this shit gonna be pushed. You got to think about it. I mean, it's common sense. Like literally, if this is the agenda of the elites and the elites started the Federal Reserve banks, why wouldn't it be pushed in the cities where the banks are at? Well, so yeah, you know, and ultimately most brothers, like the elder apostle to her, certain brothers, I can only imagine how tired they must be. And then you don't hear it in their voice though. That's how powerful their spirits is at the end of the day. But if I'm tired of this shit, I know they gotta be 20,000 million times tired, more tired. You make me think of that scripture like when Ezra was asking the angel all the questions, and then he got the angel kind of pretty much checked you. Or are you gonna tell me how much the Lord love you? Think you love Israel more than the Lord? So ultimately, this is a snare and a trap for total control. And again, it seems like it's wise, but at the same time, it really ain't wise. You know, think about it. At the push of a button, they can cause all kind of hell. We just seen that because everything is locked to a grid. You gotta remember, uh, you know, everything. Your water is controlled by dams that's electronic. You know what I mean? They showed you that at I forget which Planet of the Apes. I think it was the second one because you had certain people that like had skills before the world ended that basically was working on trying to open that dam. If I'm not mistaken, I might be mixing up a movie. So you know, it's gonna lead to trouble in the cities because you're gonna have people that's gonna reject this. You're gonna people. First of all, they gonna basically they gotta break you. They gotta humble you, so they gotta bring you low. You know, the Most High does that, and Esau Edom is going to try to do that to the people because they need you in a state of fear. I can't think of the individual that made a statement about if you want to control people, he said you got to make them afraid. or make them fear. Salakia. I'm trying to get this real quick. So I'm gonna get the book of uh, the book of Second Ezra chapter 15, starting at verse 4, and it reads, Salakia, starting at verse 14, and it reads, "Woe to the world and them that dwell therein." You know, because ultimately, the smart city is for all those that comply. You know, so before all that took place, you know, scriptures talk about in the book of Second Ezra, I think it's 16, if I'm not mistaken. It talks about all those that consent unto them shall be had in derision. You know, you thinking this is for your betterment, but it's really for his control. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and the destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up to fight against another, and swords in their hands. You got right now they're preparing, you know, the National Guard for certain states because they feel it's gonna be something that's gonna jump off. And I can't say if it is or it isn't. I just looked at the date, November 5th. You know, go back in history when Guy Fawkes tried to blow up Parliament. You know what I mean? And the spirit just hit me like, damn, they could do something goofy on that day. Then what came out, I was watching, you know, different people bringing out information. They got platforms. They like it was exercises supposed to be held on November 5th. You know, I just watched uh, the beloved elder Apostle Tar. He did a video, put me on to a guy named Patrick Humphrey. You know what I'm saying? That's what the beautiful thing about the brotherhood. And he said something. He was like, you know, the Lord created it and set it up where certain jakes that pretty much aren't around a camp or, you know, can't get to where the brothers camp at, they still can be part of the body through the unicorn. That's powerful right there because a unicorn is a symbol of power. It's a magical creature, creation. That's deep, you know. But yeah. So I can't say if it's something gonna happen or not. I mean, I did leave a message for a brother, like, you know, check that date. You know what I mean? You know, I'm not saying. I mean, the scriptures talk about being circumspect. We supposed to have our heads on a swivel, period, because we consider ourselves watchmen. That's why we watching what's going on in the world and lining up with what we see and read in the scriptures. Verse 16. For there shall be sedition among men. And you're going to have men stand up. I just did a video about, you know, the different militias. I didn't know it was that many. It's probably more than what they got listed, too. You know? Got to think about it. These gangs in these neighborhoods, your Crips and Bloods, those are fucking militias. You get what I'm saying? Like, fuck out of here. This shit going to be horrific. I mean, when you go to that word pandemonium, all demons, think about this shit. Like, all these people is heavily armed. This shit, this is, and when you get what the elder said, like, this is a huge sacrifice. Like, this is an altar with a huge, like, man, when they let this shit loose, I knew something was wrong with the movie Purge the first time I seen it. I spiritually felt that shit. I said, man, this movie ain't right. Then when they was all sitting around the table, remember when they was about to try to kill the woman and her family? Man, that shit looked so satanic. I said, what the fuck? That's just like with the movie, damn, I can't think of the name of it. The Hangover. The Hangover when he woke up and pretty much they gave him, or some kind of way he got the titty implants. And when you look at that part, it was like something spiritual was on that. Like you got to understand they do rituals over this shit. Just like how John Todd brought out about how they would pray over the album. You know what I mean? Whoever album it was, they would take it to a room and pray over it. I did a video about the UN. The UN got a special meditation room. You don't know what the fuck they call it up for. You know what I'm saying? Like with a black cube in that bitch. If I'm not mistaken, it's a cube. I do so many videos, but they got an object in this room, and they go in there and they meditate, summoning and praying and worshiping and doing all kind of wickedness in that motherfucker. I think the original address of the UN was like 6,666, just like the guy that married Trump's daughter, that Amalekite. You know what I mean? One of the buildings he owned was on 666. Like the fuck? And you telling me this is not the there's a man that's saying? So like here. For there shall be sedition among men and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes. In the course of their actions shall stand in their power. And that's going to give them the initiative. You know, I think the brother Michael Allah put the video up or a clip up. You know, I know the brother from Detroit should come. He did a video about it, or he showed the clip of it, but pretty much how they, you know, no, he did a video on it. Pretty much how they won. You know, you had LA versus New York, and pretty much they tore up the city, which they did that in Cleveland when Cleveland finally won a championship. Which that show you how like easily misled and influenced these people are. You got so happy that you won that you tore up your own shit. Now, I remember the Huff riot. Well, I don't remember. I remember hearing about it, you know, being told about it. Cause, you know, my father actually lived, you know, that during that time. My father actually, you know, long story short, though, hearing about it, like Jake was so frustrated and angry, Jake tore up their own shit. Showing you how Jake is goofy, but that's, you know, when you got a person that frustrated, Jake was ready for whatever the fuck. When a motherfucker literally tear up your own shit, that means you don't give no fuck about nothing. You know, and that was the time when they had to bring out the National Guard, you know. But that, you know, that Black Student Union and that Black Panther shit, that wasn't of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. That's why you found out, you know, so many people, you know, look at the Black Panthers. So many people was pretty much informants and, you know what I mean, all these different things, you know what I mean? So, you know, but this truth, you know, this is of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. And that's why these devils came up with concepts like the Rex 84, the King Alfred's plan, and, you know what I mean, Operation Garden Plot and shit like that. Like, who you think the target of that is? Jake. So it's gonna be Esau Edom that's gonna go to war, the Egyptian versus Egyptian, but Jake gonna get caught up in that. Cause I forgot who brought it out, but they said pretty much because Esau Edom, you know, pretty much gonna be fighting in groups of or packs of like little small pocket packs like militias. Like if you ever seen that movie The Patriot, they gonna be fighting like Gad was, and you know, hopping out, attacking, and then you know retreating. Because that's what a smaller army has to do to a bigger army. They can't stand toe to toe with them. And guess who's gonna get caught up in there? Because the anger of the Lord is gonna be on Esau Edom. So that's where your Jacob's trouble at. You know, that's the spirit that came out. Jacob's about to get this Jacob's trouble. This is the book of Jeremiah chapter 30 and verse. We start at verse 4 and it reads, "And these are the words that the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua spake concerning Israel and concerning Judah. For thus saith the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, we have heard a voice of trembling, of fear, and not of peace." You know, Salakia, because I should have got up and went in the other room, but it's like early. I know y'all like, well, who is this loud ass nigga? This the damn dog. This nigga snoring like a grown man. This nigga gonna get everybody caught. They gotta make fun of it. I pray the Lord, you know, protect me and my household and the damn dog, but you know, everything the will of the Lord. Whatever the will of the Lord is, I pray I keep hold on to this truth. And hold this truth, you know what I'm saying? Because, you know, you got some individuals that's going to not be able to escape. You know, you got some, that's your lot. And I understand why brothers be in that spirit of, you know, like at the end, you can't really mourn for it like that. You know, it's like, it is what it is, you know what I mean? You know, at the same time, you know, you try to make the best of the time now, you know. It says, "For thus saith the Lord Yahweh Bashim, we have heard a voice of trembling, of fear, and not of peace." Because anybody with the spiritual eyesight to see. But you got Jake that can see that ain't in this truth. You know, my brother, as much as a nigga he is, he wasn't completely like just a nigga. I mean, you know, he just wasn't a goofy nigga. You know what I mean? Like, I remember when Obama was in office, that first term, it was tight on shit. That second term, the streets got flooded with everything. He was like, they trying to send niggas back to the streets. Niggas got 4 or 5 numbers. You get caught this time, we about to go, you know what I mean? But this is how, and I didn't see it like that, but he must have seen it like that for years. That's why I be like, you know, you got to understand that's how cold the curses is. Like Jake not want to do some shit, but be put in a position where they feel they got to. But that's because of not having no faith or no belief in nothing. You know, I know brothers personally. I know a brother personally that I respect highly that literally left a certain kind of lifestyle, and the Lord provided to able to keep him to maintain the way because you grow accustomed to having money every day. You know, if you used to get money every day, you live a certain kind of way. You like certain kind of clothes, you like certain kind of doing certain kind of, and I watched the Lord because he pleased the Lord be able to take care of him to where he was satisfied, not in the streets, but just working, jobs. You know what I mean? And I was like, damn. And then I could tell he took the way he was, his work ethic in the street to his job. I was like, oh yeah. So, if you please the Lord, a man's enemies will be at peace with him. That's in the scripture. The Lord, you take care of, you do the Lord's will, the Lord gonna take care of you. Like I said, yeah. And you say it's always gonna be fun, easy and sweet. But you gotta learn, like the elder said, you gotta learn to rejoice in your afflictions. You know. And that's something that I'm just not getting to understand of because, I used to cry about like, damn, I'm always going through something. Because you'll see a Jake not going through nothing and got this big ass, goofy ass grin on their face from ear to ear. Like, nigga, what is you laughing at? Like, what's so funny? Ain't nothing funny. Like, this bitch that left me, took this, you know what I mean? I done lost my car broke down. I can't pay the, you know what I mean? But like the elder said though, like it's ups and downs and it's truth too. You got that Jake might be doing good while you doing bad, but then vice versa. He bad now after years. You get what I'm saying? After years of while you had this big ass grin, now he going through it. And the thing is, being brothers, you supposed to be there for that brother. You know what I mean? Like it ain't just, oh yeah, you know what I mean? Like that that's the point of the brotherhood. Who can you vent to? But I don't know. I'm just talking right here. Verse 6. Ask ye now and see whether a man doth travail with child. Wherefore do I see every man with his hands on his loins as a woman in travail, and all faces are turned to the paleness. So it's talking about these mighty men gonna be as women in fear. And when you go into that word paleness, because I just was looking at that. Jeremiah chapter 30, verse 6.
Strong's H 3420. Yerakon. Yerakon.
It says, a person paleness of face that lurid greenish color in the countenance of a man when smitten with great terror. So you ever see or looked at a man's face and you can see how they, you can see the fear on their face? That's that. You know what I'm saying? Or when you can look at a motherfucking face and tell they lie. Like, I've seen niggas in the world be able to do that. You know what I mean? And it's truth. You should have some level of discernment. Of course, some brothers are on a higher level, just like with the scriptures and everything else. You got some brothers that might not be an apt or athletes. You got some brothers that's naturally athletic. You got some brothers, like I say, I see the one brother, the Lord blessed him with so many talents. I'm like, damn, you know what I mean? Like, that brother paint, draw, all in the combat sports and shit. You know what I mean? This is verse 7. Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it, is even the time of Jacob's It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. And who is the he? The he is the remnant, the elect. And that's when we pray and we are of that hopeful number. You know, the scriptures talk about the Most High not suffering the elect to be touched. You know, so the Lord is either going to preserve them, hide them, protect them, or endow them with spiritual powers and make them, like I always quote the Elder Mawatazar, to make them killing machines. You know what I mean? You know, again, I always think of what's that? I know it's in Leviticus. There's a couple of scriptures, but how the Lord, when the Lord was with His people, scriptures talk about how one should chase 100. You know what I mean? One to chase 100. Is the spirit of the Lord is on you. I was just watching Samson. I don't remember the original Samson. I say Sam. I don't remember the original Samson. I like the new one to a degree. You know what I mean? It wasn't. But it wasn't that bad to me either. I mean, I've seen way worse movies. I mean, yeah, it wasn't no, blockbuster movie, but because it's like they downplay the biblical movies as well. Like you take the time, like the only movie that they made about the Bible that they put a lot of money, major money into was like Noah, and Noah was garbage. And I didn't even want to watch it because, like, they talk about the rock creatures, like it was so blasphemous. Like they talk about some at the end, some kind of way somebody snuck on the boat. Like none of this is in the Bible, but this is the devil for you though. He could just, that's why the Lord gonna fuck him up. I hope the Lord fuck up whoever chose to write that into the script. You know what I mean? Because like the elder said, those screenplays are like many books. You got to write a screenplay before you even could be considered for them to be able to produce the movie. So shit gonna be so bad that we gonna need our help from. Matter of fact, let me get that because it talks about the book of Isaiah, chapter 59. Scriptures talk about this devil coming down with great wrath because he know that he got in a short time. I didn't mean to do that. Isaiah 59. This is the book of Isaiah chapter 59 and verse 19. So shall they fear the name of the Lord Yahweh shall be outshine from the west, and his glory from the rising of the sun. With the enemy shall, because the Lord gonna make the conditions on this planet so hellish that everybody gonna fear the Lord. Like I said, when you look at like that flood of Spain, people feared the Lord. You know what I mean? You look at what happened in North Carolina. People feared the Lord. Florida. People feared the Lord. And one of my favorite scriptures, and I don't know why, but it's just something about that scripture that makes me feel like, because when you see wickedness, you want to see, righteousness. You want to see judgment. You know what I mean? Now the thing is, you got judgment and mercy got to come with a balance. I was thinking about because it was talking about certain hurricanes was forming and now tropical storms, and I was like, pretty much hoping that the Lord sent another one, but then the Spirit hit me like, I didn't like it when my lights and shit was cut off. You know what I mean? I was no longer part of the cap. You had brothers, like when you part of the cap, that's one thing I can say. You need some. You got a body of brothers that's go all. It ain't just you. Scriptures talk about two is better than one. A brother's built for adversity and so on and so forth. I didn't like that. But the Lord see me through it. That's what I really was thinking like that, because my kids didn't really bitch about it. You know what I mean? They didn't bitch at all, to be honest. And I got girls. Then, like I said, it's certain things the Lord put on my spirit to actually take precautions with early off when I first start being able to purchase certain things, because we don't trust in these things, but at the same time, if the Lord put the spirit on you, you got certain brothers that's learning certain things. Building fires and certain, like you got certain. I was listening to certain brothers in Chicago. They was talking about certain brothers go camping on the weekend. Just because you got to prepare yourself in your mind for these things. I was thinking about taking my kids. But I'll be so busy because I do everything by myself. I try to make excuses, but it's easy to say shit when you ain't the one got to go through it. You know what I mean? Everybody got something to say. Like Mike Tyson said, it's easy to say what you're gonna do until you get punched in the mouth. You know what I mean? Like, you could train all day, but training is not preparing you for an actual fight. Only fighting is preparing you for fights. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was a point I was making, but I forgot. It says, when the enemy shall come in like a flood, the spirit of the Lord Yahweh Bashim Shah shall lift up a standard against him. You know, and you got to know that. You got to believe that. You know what I mean? That's why I believe one of the reasons why the Lord takes us through so many afflictions, because He's getting us to pretty much trust in Him. You know what I mean? Like I said in another video, I love the brotherhood, but at the same time, the scriptures say, work out your own salvation with fear and trembling. And like the elder Bawatazak said, can't no cap leader save you. Can't no, the heads and elders cannot save you. They put you on a path to follow. And yeah, they do their part. That's what they're allotted to do. They supposed to give us this truth and be certain, like walk a certain kind of way because we're watching them. Which I can say no elder has ever, like, I highly respect the elders and brothers, for the most part. But we are in this wicked ass flesh. But I would say this, you know what I mean? Like, my walk, and I was homeless, the only person I had was Yahweh Bashim Yahshua. Like, the only comfort I had was the Lord. And just because brothers in a cap doesn't mean necessarily the Lord gonna have you with brothers in that day. Brothers say that all the time, and if you can be with brothers, that's beautiful. I remember listening to Elder, I think it was Elder Apostle Gabar. He was talking about how he was on the train and he was homeless, and I think he said the beloved Elder Apostle was on the train, or at that time was homeless. And he said through the Spirit he got on the train. He said he was gonna go to sleep on the train or something like that. It just so happened he went. It's like the Spirit had him go into the back of the cart. So he going through the cart, and finally he walks into Elder Apostle, and he was like, how his spirit just lit up. And I remember a brother in the cap was saying the same thing. The brother, well, I ain't gonna say the brother's name, but he was like, just imagine that day you just wandering like a book of Eli and you bump into a brother. He said, you know how much that's gonna boost or spiritually boost you? Just like how the judgment spiritually boosts you. I think that's what I was going into. When you see judgment, that's a spiritual boost. The scriptures say, when thy judgments are in the earth, then shall the people know righteousness. It's a righteous thing to fear the Lord. It's a righteous thing to call on the name of the Lord. But these people don't even know the true name of the Lord. But like I said, but that judgment and that mercy go hand in hand. You got brothers that stay in those areas that got devastated and fucked up. And although the Lord, covered them, you don't know how that affects them in the long run. If a store got fucked up because the whirlwind went through there, that stops them, because even though their house might have been fucked up, their car might have been fucked up, they might still have the money. They still can't get the food. They got to go out of their way to go get some food. Just something little as like if you lose your car in this truth and you got a family, you know how hard shit be just because of that? But the Lord will see you through whatever He takes you through. You know what I mean? Whatever your hell is set up to be, if you in this truth, you got the truth. So you basically got what you need to overcome it.
Strong's H 5127. Noose. Noose.
It's the word standard. It says to flee, to escape, to take flight, to part, disappear, to fly, or horseback, to take flight, to put to flight, to drive hastily, to cause, to disappear, to hide. It says vanish away, escape, abate, put to flight, hide, lift up a standard. Sure, move to and fro. So the Lord is gonna put you in a situation where you're gonna be able to either flee away from it, escape from it, to hide from it, or you gonna be able to drive it away. That's cold. It's gonna be so bad. Scriptures say we gonna need the help of the Alahayim, or the or we gonna need spiritual deliverance. We're gonna need help from on high. This is the book of Daniel, chapter 12, and verse 1, and it reads, "And at that time, the time of Jacob's trouble, and at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince which standeth for the children of thy people, and there shall be a time of trouble, such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. And at the time thy people shall be delivered, every one that shall be found written in the book of life." Salakia, written in the book. And that's the book of life. And who are those written in it? The elect. I'm going to end it with this because, scriptures talk about the time of Jacob's trouble. And when you go to Matthew chapter 24, verse 21, it says, "For then shall be," Salakia, Matthew 24, verse 21, "For then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever shall be. For there will be greater anguish than at any time since the world began, and it will never be so great again." And that's the time of Jacob's trouble. And again, if you can't see all these things being set up, you can't though. It's a lot of people can't. I was talking to somebody, and this bitch talking about taking their people to go vote, and I say, like, this is the most important vote election. And I'm thinking to myself, like, do you even tell some of these people this shit? Like, and I see why brothers didn't say certain things. Like they had already been hardening themselves for certain things. Like they were like, I don't even tell certain people this because it's what's the waste? What's the use? All you gonna do is like put a target on your back, unless it's for like the Lord really actually on you to do it. Like I wouldn't do it either. I would play the Clark Kent or the Peter Parker. Oh, she talking about her like. I wanted to say, like, literally, do you realize that how important can the election be when they predictive program that with the Simpsons talk about Lisa Simpson and Trump? They gave you your candidates and literally probably laughing at y'all in your face, like laughing at y'all, like for real, like nigga, you don't have. That's lets you know you don't even have a fucking choice because we gave you the choices to choose from. You're so-called Black, Hispanic, Native American, Civil Indian. What the elder Apostle Gabar did the video, "This is why you shouldn't vote." So with this, or with that, I want to end the lesson. I want to give all praise, all honor, and all glory to call Loyal Blah Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai, by Hashem when I spark a thumb. I want to say double honors to the elders and to the apostles of the great millstone who do teach and rule well. Peace and salutations to the Akim across the four corners of the earth. Listen this truth with faith and with sincerity, as well as risking their lives and the freedom to do so, now more so than ever. Shalom to the Akim and the Aquath to listening and learning. Lord willingly, this is edifying. Shalom to the Israelite foreigners scattered abroad in the land. And the other nations, pure like the other nations, but subscribe to this truth. To you, I say shalom. Till next time I'm able to come with another lesson, say shalom, shalom, Kwam Yasharala, and Mawat Lababal.